Thank you so much for having me here. This is a real treat for me. 48 hours ago, I touched down in Sydney, and it's my first time in Australia.
Wow.
Yeah. I actually live in a really small town in Massachusetts called Plainville. And I know that sounds really boring, and it really is. And you guys have, how many people?
175,000?
175,000 in your town. My town has 7,000. So you can tell how much smaller that is than yours. Yeah, you have a question?
I've never been to Leamington.
I have never been to Leamington. Where is Leamington?
Leamington. Not Leamington.
See, I can't. This is hard for me. Can you understand me? I can't. You know, this is new for me.
Sure. What we might do is let Jeff finish, and then we'll have some questions later.
Okay, that
That'd be
sounds
lovely.
good. But I started off a long time ago in about, let's see, 1998. Were any of you kids born before 1998? Any kids? A couple? Yeah. Up there? Oh, there's a kid right there, right? Well, I actually started writing my Diary of Wimpy Kid books in 1998, before a lot of you were born. And I worked on them for a really long time. What I wanted to be was a newspaper cartoon. So you guys still have newspapers here, right? Well, in the United States, newspapers are really declining. There aren't that many left. And so it was really hard to break in. Nobody liked my stuff, and there weren't many opportunities. So I realized that the thing is that I didn't draw very well. I didn't draw like a professional cartoonist. I drew more like a kid. And so eventually I decided, well, maybe if I can act like I'm drawing like a kid on purpose, nobody will notice and I can get away with it. So that's where the idea for Diary of a Wimpy Kid came from. And so I worked on it for a really long time. And I worked on it for years and years, actually about 8 years before I was ready to show it to somebody. And something I was reading about Ipswich is that people here have a real perseverance. Is that true? The character of the people? And I was reading that you're taking the flooding as a challenge, right, to rebuild. And I thought, I can't say that I have that in common with you. I've never been through a hardship like that, but I do know about perseverance. So I worked on my cartoons for a really long time. And then finally I showed it to somebody one day, and he said, hey, this is exactly what we're looking for, and Diary of a Wimpy Kid was born. And so since then, my life has just been this crazy ride. I think that, a few weeks ago I got to meet President Obama at the White House. That was really cool. I got to meet some other U.S. presidents. I've been around the world a little bit, actually, but I think one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to do was last night I got to speak at the Sydney Opera House.
Wow.
So that was really unbelievable for me. But anyway, now my journey has brought me here, and I couldn't be happier. I told my publisher, I said, I really want to go to meet, people in Australia, like real people. I want to get outside of the really big city centers and go out and meet some people, out there. Yeah?
Why didn't you go to the Civic Center?
To the Civic Center. That's next time I'll go to the Civic Center. But I'm just thrilled to be here, and I would be happy to answer any questions you might have about Diary of a Wimpy Kid or anything else. Yeah? Have I been to Hollywood? I've been there lots of times, actually. I was out there about a week and a half ago, and we're trying to create a TV show for Pop Tropica. Have you ever heard of Pop Tropica? Wow, unbelievable. That's my day job. That's what I do in the daytime. I created Pop Tropica, and I work on that every day. I really made Pop Tropica. Yeah. Go ahead, Tom. Blue shirt. What is my favorite book that I've written? I'm going to say today, because it changes every day. I'm going to say the purple one. Greg Heffley, he can't figure out, he can't figure out why he can't grow up. Like all the other kids around him are changing, and they've got like, facial hair and pimples and things like that. And Greg's like, hey, when's it going to happen to me? And what Greg doesn't realize is that he's a cartoon character, so he's sort of frozen in time, and he'll never grow up. So he'll always be a middle schooler. And I know middle school is not something that you guys have here, but it's ages like 11 to 13 where I come from. Yeah? Yes, I'm writing a book about Greg and Valentine's Day, which you guys do celebrate here, right? Yeah.
14th of February.
Yeah, okay, so Valentine's Day, and in fact, it's about Greg and Rowley eventually, I think, is going to get a girlfriend. Wouldn't that be annoying?
Wow.
Yeah.
Why does Rally
Why does Rally always
always have childish?
act childish? Now, do you like that about him, or does it make you uneasy? You find it funny? That's good. Rally's my favorite character, actually, because the thing about Rally is that he likes being a kid. You know, a lot of kids are kind of in a rush to grow up, and I certainly was as a kid. Greg definitely is. But Rally actually likes being a kid, and that's why he's my favorite character. Yeah?
Why is Kevin so because they get nervous that they see Riley walk through all the snow, but they can't walk through the snow. How come you can walk through snow?
He has magical powers, actually. No, it's because I'm not a very good writer. And I don't pay attention to details like that. But it's a good point. How come Rowley can get, through this snow? It's just one of those tricks that you use like a shortcut, Yes, bud?
Why did you choose the name Rally?
Why did I choose the name Rowley? Actually, you know what's funny is that there are these towns in Massachusetts, and I used to work in one called Newburyport. And the town to the right of Newburyport was a town called Rowley, and I thought that would be a really good name for a character. It just sounds like a kind of a soft, friendly, kid. And guess what the town right to the south of Newburyport was? You never guess. Nope, Ipswich. Isn't that funny?
Wow.
Yes?
I have two questions.
Okay.
The first one is, how did you get the idea for tropical?
One day I was mowing my lawn, and I was just mowing my lawn, and all of a sudden I had this idea for a website, a big virtual world for kids, and it just came to me, and I just stopped mowing, and I called my boss, and I told him this big idea I had. And I've heard that J.K. Rowling, that she actually had the idea for Harry Potter all at once on a train, and I can kind of relate to that because that's what happened to me with Tropical. Yeah. It's like this. It's really cool. I have my normal life in Plainville, Massachusetts, and then I have my kind of crazy life, which I would say is like this. I never thought I'd be in Australia talking to kids. It's unbelievable, and it's no matter. I created this idea for Diary of a Wimpy Kid in my basement in Plainville, which was like made in 1805 or something like that. This house, and I was working literally in the horse and carriage stable where they used to have horse and carriage, and it's just unbelievable that those ideas I created down there could bring me here. Make sure. Yeah.
Did you invent the adventures in Africa?
Yes, I write almost all of the stories in Pop Tropica, right? And we're working on one right now where it's a moon island where you have to go and collect an astronaut who's gone missing. Yep, yeah.
How many more books do you reckon you're going to make?
I think I'm going to make I'd like to make at least 3 more after the 7th book, so 10 hopefully, at least. I feel like I'm just getting started. The blue shirt?
How many times do you edit your books?
I go through probably about 8 passes on my books. And your teachers probably say to you that writing is rewriting, right? And it's true. It's that each time you go through, even if it's hard to read your own work, it gets better. Way in the back, purple shirt. Could you yell that out? How do you feed the shark? Oh, that's a good question. Now you're really challenging me because that was the second island we made on Pop Tropica. How do you feed the shark? I think you need to shoot cannonballs into his mouth. Isn't that right? Yeah, something. I know you have to make a potion and then fire it with the cannon,
I'm
right?
just going to go check on your parents to see if they're behaving.
With the gray shirt, and then I'll get you in front. Yes, go ahead. That is really, really funny. How many people here have played Cryptids Island? Yeah, a good number. And how many people here have seen the Jersey Devil? Right? There's this one moment in that game where you're exploring this haunted house, right? And you go all the way up to the attic and you're trying to find this creature. and then you come back down outstairs, and right when you walk outstairs, there's this giant eyeball in the window, right? And it's really scary, and it's my proudest moment in all of Pop Tropica because it scared kids all over the world. So I felt like I did my job there. Yep.
Did you help to make the movie for your first book? And if so, what was it like?
I did help to make the movies, and I was on the set for a lot of the movies, and I actually know Zach Gordon and Robert Caper, the kids who play Greg and Riley, really well, and we've had a lot of fun together. Actually, we went on this giant bus tour down the east coast of the United States, and we had this gigantic bus. It was about as long as this room, and we had video games. Their parents came along, and we went to Disney World, so it was really fun. Actually. Yeah. Why does Greg want to be rich and famous? Now, that's a question I have for you, actually. In America, every kid thinks that one day they're going to become rich or famous or president or something like that. Does that happen in Australia, that people think that way?
Yes.
Yes? No? I can't tell if it's a thing that kids always feel or if it's kids in America, but I think every kid in America grows up thinking they're going to become president somehow. Pink shirt right there? Do I prefer drawing or writing? I actually have a really hard time with both. Because I'm working a full-time job, it's hard to find the time to do both. But I like drawing when I'm listening to audiobooks, actually. Yeah? What does it feel like being Jeff Kinney? Well, it feels pretty cool right now, actually. Although I lost my luggage on my flight over here, so this is all I've got. The clothes that I'm wearing, I have no clean underwear, no socks, anything. This is what it's like to be Jeff Kinney, a guy with no clothes. Yeah. Do I know? I have no idea even what my next book is going to be. Usually authors turn in their books, like my next book is coming out in November. Usually the author would have turned it in already, it's done, it's in the can by May. I don't even know what my book is going to be about. I go by the skin of my teeth. Did I use that saying here? Yeah. So, in the blue shirt up there? I wanted to be a cartoonist, but it just worked out, that I became an author instead. I got my cartoons published in book form. The cheese touch. Has the cheese touch ever gone around in your school? That's cool, a worldwide virus. We actually had a piece of cheese on our playground, or on our church parking lot, underneath the basketball hoop. And nobody would go near it, instead of just kicking it to the side or picking it up and throw it away. No kids would ever go near it. Does anybody here have anything like the cheese touch at their school? Yeah, a couple people. You in the right here? Yeah. Because of you? Or you introduced the cheese touch to your school? That's hysterical. Anybody else? Anything like the cheese touch? Yeah? Say that again? A rotting bird. That sounds horrible. That sounds like it's really dangerous to touch that thing. Yep?
There's small piece of cheese underneath that building.
Nobody will go near it. Now, when I went to the UK a while ago, some kid was telling me about these pants that were in the garden, right? And I kept saying, oh, blah, 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 the pants. And everybody's laughing. I had no idea why they were laughing. Does pants mean underpants here? Really? Sort of? Yes. Well, anyway, everybody's laughing. I wasn't in on the joke. The pink shirt? I see. So you got your own personal aura, right? That's funny. Yeah?
How long does it take you to make the book and publish it?
So the first book, it took me 8 years end to end from the time that I thought of the book until the time that it got published. Now it takes me about 9 months to write a single book. And luckily, even though I lost my luggage, I've got my book in my pocket on my phone. So that, the world has really changed a lot. Yeah, bud? Loaded diaper. Well, there used to be all of these bands in all over the world, actually, that were misspelled. Like, Def Leppard and Lynyrd Skynyrd and Led Zeppelin. And something about it, it was like it made it cool if you didn't know how to spell your name. And so I came up with this idea for Loaded Diaper, which is Roderick's band. Way in the back, way up there. Was I like Greg when I was little? Yeah, I was a little bit. I think my most embarrassing memory is this, and you guys will lose all respect for me. I used to be on the swim team, and what I do is at the beginning of practice, I would say to my coach I needed to use the bathroom, and I'd go and sit in the bathroom in my Speedos, and I'd just sit in one of the stalls, and I'd get so cold that I wrap myself in toilet paper so I wouldn't die of hypothermia. So that's where Greg Heffley was really born. Yeah. Why is Manny the troublemaker? And he's only like this big, right? You guys, anybody who has a younger brother or younger sister know, yes, you know what it's like to live with a Manny, right? Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Liz. Why does Manny have like almost like a crocodile mouth? I just drew him that way, and it's funny, he looks fine when he's little, but then when you blow him up when he's big, he looks ridiculous. He looks like inhuman, so that may have been a mistake. Yeah? Why does Manny not get into trouble? How many people here have a younger sibling that never seems to get into trouble? Yes, that's why. That's why. Yeah, buddy? Yes. Yeah, I think I should have drawn him a little bit better, right? Yeah, go ahead, Bill. Do I have any tips for any wannabe authors? Yeah, actually, I think that one tip I would say is to try to write something, but then show it to somebody that you know is going to be hard on you, right? And say, what do you think? And be honest. If you can find somebody that's going to tell you that your work needs work, that's the best type of person to find. Because when I was a kid, I used to draw a lot. And I had this one, and I thought I was pretty good, and everybody around me always told me that my work was great. And then this one teacher I had said, well, actually, you could do this better, and this better, and this better. And at first I was like, hey, what do you, everybody else thinks my stuff is great, but now you're giving me criticism. But I still use that criticism. She gave me really good criticism, and she made me want to be better. Yeah? The idea for the drawings. Well, I really want to draw as simply as possible, right? You can see that there aren't that many lines in my drawings, right? And one of the things I really like about cartooning is that what you're trying to do is you're trying to boil something down to its most essential ingredients, to make it as simple as possible. And there was a cartoonist a while ago in the 1800s, I know this is a long answer, right? Who his editor said, why don't you, I want you to try drawing with half as many lines. And he said, if I draw with half as many lines, I'll have to charge you twice as much, right? And I really like the idea that in cartooning, you're really trying to simplify things. And I'll show you an example of that. Do we have some paper here? Okay. Oh, turn it over. Oh, that's so cool. All right. I'm going to try drawing here. Let's see. So with Greg, actually, he really starts out off with just, I've got 1, 2, 3. His head isn't going to be shaped properly. 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, right? So 7 lines, and even though that looks very sloppy, sloppier than I thought, you know that that's Greg, and that's pretty cool. And you'll notice that what's missing is what? His mouth. And I wanted to show you another Greg right here. I wish I could draw it faster. Lopsided, but in a different way. Okay, and again, his mouth is missing. But look at this. Watch how, just with 1 line here, right, or 2 lines there, and then 1 line here, you can see how different his expression is, right? But it's just with these 2 lines for this 1 line, you can see that he just looks so different. And I can add a few lines here, And just with one line right there, he's feeling something different, and you know what it is. You know how he feels? Yeah, I caught you off guard. How does he feel with that one line under his eye? Upset? Yeah, he could. Anybody else? A bit tired? Yeah, that's what I'd say. He's tired. And now if I go and, for example, draw these little lines right here. Now, this is sort of expert level, right? Think of a word that starts with a D. A D. Pink shirt? Days, that's perfect. There's probably some other ones. Anybody else? D? Yeah? Drunk. I've heard that only once ever in my life. And drunk, yeah. I think, hopefully not for a few years. But yeah, he could be drunk, drowsy. We try drowsy instead of drunk. So you can see that in cartooning you have these little tricks that you can use to tell you how a character is feeling, and that's my favorite part about cartooning. So I think I'm going to take a few more questions and then sign whatever you got, right?
Okay, 2 more questions. Over there, green shirt.
Why did you make up the pictures of Annie's
Bubby, I have a cousin who his sister called him Bubby, and it used to drive him crazy, and I thought that was a great nickname. And now, who's the kid that's the most annoyed that I have not called on them? And you've been raising your hand forever.
Girl over here.
Okay, go ahead, hon. I started writing my first book when I was 28, and now I'm 41. So.